Hey guys, welcome back to Godzillathon, and oh my god, Jesus fuck! It's been a long time since I haven't done Terror of Mechagodzilla, the previous one. So, yeah, it's been a long time. It's because, what happened? I was working, I had to do NES Godzilla. I hope you guys enjoyed NES Godzilla. I've been thought, like, I had to post, like, the next one, like, I will try to post the last chapter or the conclusion of NES Godzilla. I will try. I'll try sometime this week. Okay. I'm actually planning to do 4 episodes of Godzillathon. Hopefully, like starting from right now. I gotta catch up before King of the Monsters. So yeah, I was in the middle of Godzillathon when I was doing that because NES Godzilla deserves to be part of Godzillathon. Why can't it? Maybe the video games could be part of it. Actually, no, forget the video games, forget it. But seriously, I was really busy some other time. But holy shit, I'm back. But we are now on episode 16. Welcome to the Heisei, everybody, because we're doing the Return of Godzilla, or simply titled Godzilla in Japan from 1984. I will try to do the American dubbing. I'm gonna try and remember everything I did with the American version. So let me state out my point on this movie. This was the movie, like the Japanese version. It was the one I've been looking for years. I never owned the original copy on Blu-ray from Japan because it was super expensive. I just couldn't find anything about the Return of Godzilla on Blu-ray, but I managedly did. Finally I got it on Blu-ray, but it was from Kraken's releasing, and honestly, it was so much better than watching the American version, even though I kind of feel bad for the American version. This movie, so I watched it. The dubbing was much better. It was much better. I wonder why this looked better alongside Miramax or Max Meyer. I don't know what company that was. Did their version of the dubbing for the next installment of the Heisei. Those dubbings were so much better than how TriStar did. What the fuck were they thinking? What the fuck was TriStar thinking with these annoying voices? I don't know, screw that. So yeah, I'm very excited for this one, but I want to do this. I will start right now, but there's a little bit of a backstory of it before we could get to the movie itself. So it was like 9 years, probably less than a decade before, ever since the last movie, Terror of Mechagodzilla. From what I heard, that this movie was the floppiest film in Japan. It really depresses me. It hurts me so much that it was the lowest grossing film in Japan. I expected Godzilla's Revenge to be the lowest grossing movie in Japan because it was so fucking terrible. I mean, everyone hated Godzilla's Revenge, even I do, but Terror of Mechagodzilla, it breaks my heart about this because that is my all-time favorite Godzilla movie. I don't know why it was hated by critics and fans. I don't see the point why. I love this movie so much, but so then several years later, somewhere around in the 80s, before that, the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla came out. I wasn't a fan of the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla. Yeah, those Godzilla cartoons that's happened, this one alongside the one in the 90s were trash. So this one, so let me go on. The 80s, in the 80s, there was a man called Steve Miner. He acquired the rights of Toho to make the first American Godzilla, like using animatronics and everything. The design looks weird to me. It looks more like a T-Rex with just Godzilla's spines on his back, more greenish than how we know of. So his production was canceled due to probably for the best of it. He just canceled it. It's like, there's no way I could do that. So screw it. So then moving on. Um they Toho decided to re-inquired of saying like, hey, let's just get Godzilla back. Let's bring him back. So they decided to, and they actually got before this movie was going to be in production. It was originally announced that they were going to have Ishiro Honda to direct this movie. It would have been a great idea that it will be an awesome sequel. It would have been a sequel to his original masterpiece. The original, yeah. But the thing is, like, he's like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And also, not to mention that it was due to the death of the original special effect director. I forgot his name. The original special effect director. Yeah, I totally forgot who it was, but Ishiro Honda declined of directing it, and his thoughts with the Heisei, he was never happy with that idea. He's totally against it. So he retired, but worked on some other movies with some other director. They got a new director. I believe it was Koji Hashimoto. That's the director's name. And I thought that idea was great. And by the way, guys, this movie is not a reboot, nor just part of the same era line with the Showa. It is a direct sequel. Yes, a direct sequel, but actually ignoring the entire Showa films, like from Godzilla Raids Again all the way to Terror of Mechagodzilla, never happened. The only thing that happened was the attack of 1954, taking place 30 years later in 1984. And by the way, this movie was like Godzilla's 30th anniversary. So I thought this idea was perfect since Godzilla Raids Again was a flop. I hated that movie so much. I hate Raids Again. This idea was brilliant. And this is the first time Godzilla was ever used as animatronics. Of course, super unimportant reviews. One of the guys called, I believe it was Steve from Super Unimportant Reviews, when he reviewed that NECA 1984. I hate what NECA did to that figure. I don't want to talk about it right now. He said that it was supposed to be like that due to a Cybot. It makes so much sense since in 1984 it was more like animatronics, and they used a bunch of effects on Godzilla when it comes to animatronics, and they actually use a huge Cybot, like a drone or machine that's in for Godzilla. That's what it was, and it's not even a rubber suit. They got a new composer. I don't know who it was, but it's not Akira Ifukube. Sadly, it's not. Also, this review was supposed to have Goji Fan 93 on this, like, as a cameo for this one, just because this is his favorite Godzilla movie, and I just wanted to bring him as a cameo. But the problem is that all his accounts of social media is no longer available. It appears that Chris already gave up on this. I mean, I understand what was going on. I think it's best for him to just take a break or just stay out of sight, like for a long time till like look, I don't know. I don't think he's coming back at all. He was never meant to come back. So I don't think he can make a cameo on this one. But anyways, let's begin. So it opens up with like a volcanic type like scenes with the awesome music. Not the best soundtrack in my opinion, but it was awesome. It was a pretty cool soundtrack. It's new, not the same Akira Ifukube, sadly. But after the opening credits, we opened up to a Japanese fishing vessel, the Yahada Maru. The Yao Maru is trying to find its way to the shore into a fierce storm while near the Hebaida Island. One of them was a like works with these people at the boat. Known as Hiroshi Okumara, played by Takuma, sorry, Shin Takuma. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's awesome. So like they ask him, "Hey, are you alright?" And he's like, "Sure, I'm okay." Like he was frightened right there. But then a giant monster roars from the mountains, opening up and attack the boat. On the next morning, the reporter known as Goromaki, played by Ken Tanaka, finds the vessel intact but deserted. He shouted, "Hey! Is everyone there? Is anyone there?" As he explores the vessel, he found all those crew dead. Oh, and by the way, that scene right there just scares the crap out of me when I first saw it. It was so scary, like that scene. Well, I don't know. It was creeping me out when I saw it. So he found all the crew dead. He trips onto like some kind of disgusting gooey thing or whatever, or the guts. He was chased by a little creature that's hiding behind him. But he found everyone is dead except for Hiroshi, the one I told you about, played by Shin Takuma. He's like, "Oh my god, you're alive! You're still alive!" And he looks into his wallet. I don't know, which is actually his sister. I believe she was played. She was played by Yatsuko Sawaguchi. That's her name. That's the actress's name. I'll get to her soon. But then he heard the sound, like it sounds much like Ibra, but it's a sea lice, okay? What the hell, sea louse? Yeah, it attacked. This thing attacked Goru, but like crawling onto his back, and he tried to get rid of that thing. It looks a little silly to me. But then he tried killing him with a knife, but it doesn't work until Ishiro regains unconsciously and hits the back with an axe, saving Goro's life. Goro helped out Hiroshi. I'm sorry, it's Hiroshi, and Hiroshi just like, "It was a monster." Goro asks, "What, like the sea lice?" And he goes, "No, bigger and different. Fire came from its mouth." And then the Tokyo came in, and Goro's like, "Hey, help out here, help us out or something." I don't know. So back on Tokyo, Goro actually tells truth that he saw a monster there, and well, his sister didn't believe him about a monster. Nobody even believed there was a giant monster attacking. Nobody does. But Hiroshi is kept isolated in the hospital room, meeting with Dr. I'm trying to pronounce that right. Dr. Makoto Hayashida. Yeah, that's his name, and he's played by. I'm looking up on this one. Oh my god. What is his name again? What's I don't know. What was his name again? So Yosuke Natsuki. I think that's I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that took a little while. I'm super sorry. Who presents him with pictures like Hiroshi actually told him he swears he saw a giant monster, and he shows him pictures of Godzilla attacking Tokyo from 1954. But then it was so yeah, that's when they realized it was confirmed that it was Godzilla attacking. So it confirms that. So yeah, it's confirmed. The news of Godzilla's return is kept secret by the government to avoid panic until Godzilla attacks a second time and destroys the Soviet nuclear like whatever it was. I don't know. So moving on, Goro actually speaks with the with with the doctor Hayashida, of course, I told you about, asking talking about this whole Godzilla situation until like he saw this girl right there, the same girl I told you earlier about the picture that he found in Hiroshi's wallet. He asked her, she looks familiar, and she goes, and Dr. Hayashida replied, "That's actually his. That's actually Hiroshi's sister. Yeah, her name is Naoko Okumura, played by Yasuko Sawaguchi. That's her name, right there. So at night, Goro talks, decide to go with Naoku about this whole situation, how she knows so much about her brother, and she goes, if only I'm sad that he's dead. And then Goro goes, what if he's alive? And she goes, I don't know what to react to. And Goro is like, he's in the hospital right now, and she was shocked to hear about this. She decided to go to the hospital to see her brother. So they wouldn't let her in until like her brother Hiroshi let her in. So like she was shocked like and happy to see her brother, but of course this dumbass camera guy just came out of nowhere. I don't know why was he there. Why would Goro let him in? Moving on. So remember that Soviet's nuclear submarine with the Russians? So they were going somewhere until they think, oh, we're when they were being attacked, but thinking it was the Americans, but no, it was Godzilla. Who'd you guessed? So they believe the Russians. So this movie is basically based off of the Cold War. The Cold War, it does happen the same year, 1984. This is in the 80s, so what else could there be? So until like if you remember this movie called The Hunt for Red October, it talks about it's about the Cold War, like, you know, which, by the way, if there's any of you out there never saw The Hunt for Red October, I highly recommend you watch it. It is a great thriller. This movie, however, is definitely on the Cold War. Like, really, it's great. So yeah, they were isolated. They were like, I mean, think about it. The Russians and Americans are like in the Cold War. Like, so the Russians believed the submarine was attacked by the Americans, but that wasn't the case. The Japanese interviewed with them and announced that it was Godzilla behind all these attacks. The Japanese arranged a meeting with the Russian and American ambassadors, and after some debate over the issue, the Prime Minister Mitamura, played by Kinji Kobayashi, that's the actor's name right there, declines nuclear weapons, saying we are not allowed to use nuclear weapons to attack Godzilla if he were to attack the Japanese mainland. An announcement that both the Americans and Russians are upset with this. So the military are put on alert and begin to search for Godzilla. So yeah, and the music with that is so good. That was such a great music right there. I don't know. So meanwhile, the Russians had their own plans to counter the threat posed by Godzilla, and a Russian-controlled ship disguised as a freighter called the Balashevo that's somewhere in Tokyo Harbor is outfitted to launch a nuclear missile from one of their orbiting satellites that should attack should Godzilla attack. Which, by the way, yeah, that submarine or the ship, the Navy ship. It's basically in the control of a missile that's on a satellite. No kidding. So so Kashirin, the colonel in charge of the ship, orders the nuclear device to be disarmed, as the Soviet government ultimately agrees with the prime minister's demand. So yeah, that's how it goes for it. But sooner or later, on the island of the Japanese of the coast of Japan, where there's like a nuclear power plant or something like that. One of the guys who works there actually saw Godzilla like in person, and oh my god, yeah. Instead of being the exact size of what he was in the Showa, like he's actually bigger. He's actually bigger than how he was in the Showa, and he's more frightening. Yeah. So the guy who was down there was like, "Oh my God, Godzilla, Godzilla!" And Godzilla starts walking, like, and he starts to determine to feed off a nuclear power plant in the outskirts of Mihama. When Godzilla attacks the facility near Mihama and feeds off the rector. Yeah, he destroyed the power plant and gained energy from that power plant. No, it's not like the PlayStation Godzilla game where Godzilla destroys the generators. No, this is different on how he gains energy. But then he was distracted by a flock of birds and leaves the facility almost as quickly as he arrived. What the hell? After some research, Hayashida determines that like birds, Godzilla follows the Earth's magnet field in order to navigate, and that he can be lured to any location using magnetic transmitter. I guess that would make sense for it. Hayashida decides to plan construct the transmitter and lure Godzilla to Mount Mahara on Ashima Island, where he'll be trapped there. Which we'll get to that at the end soon. So Godzilla is later sighted at Tokyo Bay, forcing a mass evacuations out of the city, and state emergency is declared. The JSDF attacks Godzilla with fighter jets, but of course they decide to attack with jets, and guess what? It's useless. It's useless. You can't even do anything. Any of your weapons can't stop him. Come on. So Godzilla proceeds to the coast, where he's waiting on the military forces equipped with tanks, rockets, launchers, and soldiers armed with the assault fires. They try to fire on Godzilla, but Godzilla uses atomic breath to obliterate everything. Just one single blast. I guess, which that scene was badass. As Godzilla climbs ashore, he causes the ship to crash into the ashore. Yeah, that Russian ship that we talked about, it collapsed, damaging its system and causing the nuclear missile to launch. So, but the captain of the ship bravely attempts to disarm the missile. He's like, I have to stop this missile, but sadly he couldn't, because some explosion somewhere just kills him. Yep, that sucks. So Godzilla then proceeds to Tokyo causing so much destruction, like destroying cars, that train destruction. Remember in the original 1954, that Godzilla just picks up a train with his mouth and just throws it around the place? It's a little similar, but except he just grabs it with his hand, just look at it, it's like, ah, shit, and he just drops it. Damn it. Looks like Godzilla just couldn't deal with it now, can he? He's not meant. So, I mean, think about it. The original doesn't fuck around. I mean, neither does this guy, but sometimes he did. But then, guess what? The military released their new super weapon called Super X, a pilot craft armed with cadmium weapons constructed in secret to defend Tokyo in case of an emergency. In particular, a nuclear attack. Obviously, the Super X is such an awesome weapon. Godzilla has a bad reaction to cadmium shells that are fired into his mouth by the Super X. So basically, he falls unconsciously. Wouldn't you guess? So Hideshiya and Goro with, I believe, what's her name again? Nayakoda. I'm sorry. Give me a sec. What was her name? Nayako. I'm sorry. Nayako. So these three are somewhere in a building trying to like, I don't know what it was. Before Godzilla fights the Super X, they were using some kind of loud, weird sound, like an echo. I don't even know how to explain that, but it kind of whenever I hear sounds like this, I get goosebumps because it sounds super weird. Like, ugh, God, ugh. So yeah, I'm not even comfortable with that sound. It just annoys me sometimes. So moving on. So basically, the Super X stopped Godzilla, like firing missiles into his mouth, like fire one up in the sky and they go into his mouth. Godzilla starts, I don't know what's coming out of his mouth, but just like goes to sleep on a building, like, oh fuck, and he drops down. Obviously, wouldn't you guess? So yeah, but then guess what? Remember that Russian ship that was going to stop, that guy was trying to stop the missile? Well, he's dead already and he can't do anything, and there's nothing he could do. So the missile was launched. Oh shit. So, yeah. Godzilla. So the missile was about to, this nuclear missile was like a whole destruction to Tokyo. So it was launched from the satellite, leaving the Japanese government and the people helpless to stop it. So they're like, the government was shocked to see that missile. However, thanks to the Americans, they launched their missile from NASA, I believe, to stop that missile, and boom, that atmosphere looks badass. The Americans saved us. The Americans saved you guys. So, so, Hiroshi, in a helicopter, got the professor out of there. Yeah, he just got him out of there, and they were both able to escape with the device they got through with. What a great job. So the only one that's in the building that he's like, oh, Goro's like the only one with the building that's going to take care of Hiroshi's sister, Naoko. Yeah, they decided to stay there. Oh, and I forgot to mention that guy that works, I think, in a restaurant or a store, a drugstore. He was interfered with Godzilla. He's like, screw you, dipshit, or something like that. I don't know. And like he's kind of a douchebag right there. That was before Godzilla passes out in fighting the Super X, whatever. So he's somewhere around. So remember that atmosphere? Well, guess what? It regained lightning bolts and re-energized Godzilla. Whoa, shit. Oh, and that scene where he opens his eye, that's badass. So Godzilla roars at the Super X and decided to fight it again. The final battle with Godzilla and the Super X. So basically, Oh, Godzilla's close up where he roars. Ugh, man, that's derpy. So eventually he destroyed a building and like just demolished it and crushed the Super X. Thankfully, no one was there inside there. There finally, they just got out of nowhere. Eventually, that douchebag guy I told you about, he passes out after seeing Godzilla like near him, while Goro and Nako, Hiroshi's sister, ran away from him. Well, she's a little bit. I mean, at least they just got off, thankfully. Godzilla like decides to head to the eventually damaging the aircraft and forcing him to make an emergency landing where he destroys the toppling like a building on it. Godzilla continues his ramp his rampage all the way to Mount Mahara, and the professor arrived on Oshima Island and activates his mech transmitter. Of course, Godzilla arrived there. Thank God. So it's crazy. Godzilla leaves Tokyo, swims, and he finally arrived to Mount Mahara, where he noticed the signal device, which, like I said, annoying sound, which fascinates him. As he walks towards, he fell into the mouth of the volcano, surrounded by bombs. Oh man. Okumura detonates the bomb, and a huge explosion there. Wow. Godzilla roars, which probably, yeah, this song is it's a sad song right there. It was a very sad scene there, but but not like I didn't tear it up on that version. Godzilla roars as the ground beneath him crumbles and he fell into the mouth of the volcano until like his fate. There's no way to tell, like, say Godzilla is dead or he's alive. Well, wouldn't you guess? This movie takes place 5 years later before its sequel. Wouldn't you guess? That was the end of the Japanese version, guys. Honestly, it's very entertaining. I love this version. So, basically, yeah. But, guys, I'm kind of not done with this review. I actually want to talk about the American version next. So, basically, there's just changes right there. This one, I mean, this one has some different changes compared to the Japanese version. And this movie was like edited by Roger Corman, the same guy who directed Sharktopus. I mean, God, that movie was terrible. This movie actually recasted Raymond Burr to play Steve Martin again. Very, very nice tribute right there. But actually, the actor Steve Martin was popular back then, and so this movie actually referred to him as Mr. Martin. So I thought that was fine right there. That was fine. But with that being said, there's nothing new to it. It's just a few scenes that's just added. Well, God, the intro was one of the good things. Pretty interesting intro, and the music pretty nice. But they're kind of bad. There are several changes. I want to go in order with the huge problem. The Dr. Pepper scene, for example. What the fuck? Why would you do a Dr. Pepper scene right there? And there's some American scenes right added. Mr. Martin was interrupted by like one of the securities from the Pentagon. I believe it's at the Pentagon, to come with them to see what is going on in Tokyo. Like right after Godzilla destroys the nuclear power plant. That this is only like in the American version. There's another change. That the jets attacking Godzilla. One of the pilots says, "Sayonara, sucker." Okay, that's kind of I don't know why would you say goodbye, sucker. I mean, sayonara, I understand what that means. It's goodbye in Japanese, but why you're gonna say that if none of your missiles work? Jackass. Oh, there's the worst change I've ever seen in my life. It's remember that scene where where the captain has to stop the missile in the Japanese version. Well, in the American version, it was a purpose. Like, say, I gotta launch that missile right now to destroy him. It was actually, they said it was like purposely trying to destroy Japan. That's pretty fucked up. I don't know why would you ever do that. Fuck you, Roger Corman. You ruined that shit. So, yeah, Roger Corman did a very bad thing. There was a huge, huge good thing. There's the biggest highlight of this movie was the ending. Aside from Raymond Burr, the ending of the American version was a highlight because it was a lot more emotional compared to the Japanese version. The Japanese version lacked the ending, but the American version did it well. The Godzilla screaming like down to the mouth of the volcano was really sad. I teared up on that scene. It was so sad, and it's a lot better than the Japanese version how they did it. And of course, Raymond Burr's speech was another good thing. That I want to give 2 thumbs up on Raymond Burr. That was so good. He did a very good job at the end. That was awesome. I love it. Great job, Raymond Burr. But so at the end, the American version, it's not awesome, but it's not terrible. But it was kind of good. But so not perfect. But Raymond Burr, that was great. That was a great job, man. Good job, Raymond Burr. So, all in all, the movie, the Japanese version. Well, I mean, I have this movie right here. Like, I'm right now holding the one I got on Blu-ray from Kraken Releasings. This one right here is. I mean, I have it here, and it's much better to. That's the one I told you guys is the one I've always been looking for, and. It's like for the first time in America, we got the uncut, uncensored, original version of The Return of Godzilla. It's one of the best movies ever made, one of the best Godzilla movies ever made, and I know this is Goji Fan 93's favorite Godzilla movie. I mean, I'm sad that he's not with us anymore. He's not going to be on YouTube for the rest of his life. He's not in social media anymore. Sorry. So the budget of this movie, it was, the budget on this movie was successful. $640 million yen. $640 million yen. That's what I meant to say. Not dollars, yen. Well, and the box that's the budget, and the box office was 1,700,000,000 yen. No kidding, they win a lot of money on that shit. So, and this movie is actually PG-13 when it was released. Yeah, James Rolfe kind of lied when he said in the 80s PG-13 never existed. The first PG-13 to be actually existing in America was the first movie was Red Dawn that came out in 1984. This movie, when it was released in America, it came out PG-13. So that's how it works. And well, in the Japanese version, it was PG. The rest of the Heisei became PG-13. So there you go, folks. So, but let me talk about the character. So the characters, not knowing that much. Goromaki was great. Hiroshi, he's awesome. I forgot to mention in the American version he was called Kenny. I was like, when I first heard that, I was like, what? I mean, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Changing names of a character for the dubbing. So fucking stupid. God damn it. God damn it, Roger Corman. So, Hiroshi Okumura was awesome. His sister, Naoko, she's pretty. Dr. Hayashida, I keep seeing him, like, he's so I mean, Yosuke Natsuki, like when I first saw him, I was like, he's so familiar. He's part of the Showa Godzilla movies. Like he's been in several of them. The characters are great. U.S. version. Raymond Burr, that was a great comeback. I love you so much. I mean, I'm sorry. I think you're great. You are awesome. So, and the music by Red Ijiro Koroku. His music, to be honest, it was alright. Not as it was great. Not as badass or as classically fun than Akira Fukube, but it was pretty entertaining. So yeah, that's very obscured. Let me talk about this weapon right here. The Super X is fucking awesome. I mean, not the best super weapon I've ever seen that in the Godzilla franchise. But so I mean, not as perfect as the Gotengo, but it was pretty cool. I love this thing. I love the weapons. It's so shinily armored, and Godzilla couldn't even do anything about it. So yeah, let me talk about Godzilla finally, the monster himself. So let's talk about Godzilla. This Godzilla is a lot taller than his Showa counterpart or his original counterpart. Godzilla's scarier in this one, but sometimes he has derpy moments. I mean, yeah, he kind of has derpy moments. The close-up animatronics look like shit sometimes. But the only complaint I have to say about him is about this design are the spikes. I mean, not aside from the some derpy looks, the spines. I don't want to piss off Goji Fan 93 on this one. I am not a fan of how they were positioned. It's just out of place. Like the big ones are like too low, like lower of his body. I mean, that's all I had to complain of. His characterization, it's more metaphoring, and I swear to God, I'm gonna get hate comments by Goji Fan 93 himself. At some point, I think Godzilla acts a little bit animalistic. Hey, I don't want to hear comments. I don't want to see those bad comments. Let me explain something. The scene he was following the birds, like a flock of birds, and just going somewhere. That's a little bit too animalistic. Like, I mean, he's not even as animalistic as how he was in Godzilla Raids Again, but I mean, he's done way better in this movie. But again, I don't like how he's following the birds. And that train scene, it's supposed to be like he just picks up the train with his mouth. He grabs a train with his mouth and just throws it around the place. But what does he do in this one? He just picks up the train, looks through it, and just drops it with his hands. Like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, that's kind of obvious with this character, but still. But yet again, I love this design. I love it so much. I just couldn't even deal with it. So basically, that's all I have to say about this. When I introduce this to people who are not Godzilla fans, it's better if you buy the thing on Blu-ray from Kraken Releasings, like I said, and show them that version, the Japanese version and English dub. Yes, you're gonna have to show it to those people. I'm not a fan of the American version, except for maybe Raymond Burr. He's great. Yeah, if you want, sure, you could show him Raymond Burr. But just so you know, that movie actually existed. Lots of people I know of, like some of my grandparents actually watched The Return of Godzilla when it was released in theaters in America. Godzilla 1985, The Legend is Reborn. That's what the title was. The Legend was Reborn. So yeah, that was the American title. So basically, that's all I could say. I'm gonna give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. No, 8.5 out of 10 because it is a well done movie. Not the best Godzilla movie, but it's one of the best. Okay, one of the best movies. So 8.5 out of 10, and I hope I'll see you guys in the continuation of the Heisei. See you later.